In this session today, let's talk on phonetics and phonology. Talking and listening to each other are so much part of normal life that they often seem unremarkable. Yet, as in any scientific field, the curious investigator finds rich complexity beneath the surface. Even the simplest of conversations and exchange of short greetings, for example, presupposes that the speaker and the hearer make sense to each other and understand each other. Phonetics and phonology are concerned with speech, with the way in which humans produce and hear speech. They are the two branches of linguistics that deal primarily with the structure of human language sounds. Phonetics focuses on the physical manifestations of speech sounds and on theories of speech production and perception. Phonology is concerned with the systems of rules or constraints that determine how the sounds of a language combine and influence one another. There are three branches of phonetics. They are articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. Let's talk about articulatory phonetics. Articulatory phonetics is a branch of phonetics which focuses on the human vocal apparatus and describes sounds in terms of articulation and the vocal tract. Acoustic phonetics studies the sounds of speech through the analysis of speech waveform and spectrum. Auditory phonetics studies the perceptual response to speech sound as reflected in listener trials. Our discussion will be limited to articulatory phonetics, that is, to the nature of human sounds as they are produced by the vocal apparatus. Most speech sounds in all languages are produced by modifying in some way the airstream that is expelled by the lungs up the windpipe through the glottis or the space between the vocal cords and along the vocal tract. The vocal tract comprises all the space leading from the larynx up to the lips and nostrils, and may be thought of as a bent pipe. Speech sounds can be identified in terms of their articulatory properties, that is, by where in the mouth and how they are produced. Consonants are sound produced by partially or completely blocking air in its passage from the lungs through the vocal tract. All English consonants can be described in terms of three properties. The first property is voicing or whether the vocal cords vibrate or not. The second property is place of articulation, or where the air stream is most obstructed. The third property is manner of articulation, or the particular way where the air stream is obstructed. Here we describe consonants group according to the manner of articulation and describe in terms of voicing and place of articulation. The principal stops of English are p, b, t, d, k, g. P and ba are bilabial stops, which means in the production of these sounds, air is built up behind the two lips and then released. For example, the letter P in words like pin, upper, gap, and letter B in words like beer, rubber, tub. T and D are alveolar stops. In the production of these sounds, tip of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge. As in the letter T in words like tub, attend, potato, and letter D in words like day, modest, bad. K and G are velar stops, and they are produced with the tongue touching the roof of the mouth at the velum or soft palate. The letter K or K in word like book. P, T and K are voiceless sounds, which means in the production of these sounds, the vocal cords do not vibrate, whereas in the production of sounds such as B, D and G, vocal cords vibrate, hence they are known as voice sounds. In addition, many languages have a glottal stop. It is pronounced by using the glottis to completely but briefly block the air from passing in the throat. Fricatives are characterized by forcing air in a continuous stream through a narrow opening. In English, there are 9 fricative consonants. F and V are labiodental fricatives. That is, they are produced with lower and upper teeth. Th and D are dental fricative. Here, the main articulators involved are tip of the tongue and the front teeth. S as in word sick and Z as in word zoo are alveolar fricatives. The tip and the blade of the tongue is brought very near to the teeth ridge. Examples are letter SH as in word shoot and wish, and Z as of the final sound in word like beast and middle sound and words like measure are pronounced between the alveolar ridge and the velum, and these sounds are called alveopalatals. H is a voiceless glottal fricative. Here, the vocal cords are kept close together and the air escapes through the narrow glottis with audible friction. For example, the letter H in words like behind, beehive, etc. In the pronunciation of affricate, air is built up by complete closure of the oral tract at some place of articulation, release, and then continued. In English, there are two affricates, j as in letter ch, as in words like jeep and church, and j or the initial g as in gin and gentle. Both are palatoalveolar. That is, in the production of these sounds, the tip and blade of the tongue make a firm contact with the teeth ridge. If the velum or soft palate is lowered at the back of the throat to keep open the passage into the nasal cavity, air can escape through the nose at the same time as it also emerges from the mouth. Speech sounds produced in this way are nasal. Possible nasal consonants include ma, na, nga, all of which occur in English. Examples are letter M in words like man, many, letter N in words like knife, knit, letter NG in sing, king, etc. There is only one lateral consonant in English. It is the la sound. It is produced with a complete closure in the center of the vocal tract, the air escaping along the sides of the tongue. La is produced with the tip of tongue, making a firm contact against the teeth ridge. The vocal cords vibrate. The sound thus produced is voice alveolar lateral. For example, the letter L occurring initially in words like life, lule, etc. In English, there is one frictionless continuant, that is the ra sound. In the production of these sounds, the tip of the tongue is raised in the direction of the hinder part of the teeth ridge. The vocal cords vibrate. The sound thus produced is voice post-alveolar frictionless continuum. For example, the letter R occurring initially in words like red and run. Now let's talk about semivowel sounds. A semivowel is a vowel glide to a more prominent sound in the same syllable. In English, there are two semivowels. They are y and w. Though these sounds are vowel-like in the articulation, they are classified as consonants because they do not function as a nucleus of any syllables. Y is voice palatal. During the articulation of y, lip rounding is anticipated if the immediately following vowel is a rounded vowel, as in words like you, yawn, etc. W is voice labiobellar. Examples are the letter W in west and WH in Y. Now, let's talk about vowel sounds. Vowels are characterized by the absence of obstruction of the air stream in the mouth. They do not have a place of articulation in the same sense as consonants. Vowels can be divided into front, back, and central in relation to front-back axis, high, low, and mid in relation to height, rounded and unrounded in relation to labial rounding. A front vowel is one produced by holding the tongue towards the front of the mouth. Both E and R are front vowels, and back vowels involves retraction of the tongue. For example, U and A. A high or close vowel is one in the production of which the jaws are held close together. Examples are E and U. The production of low or open vowel involves the opening of the mouth more widely, as in A and A. A rounded vowel is produced with the lips rounded, as in U, O, O. An unrounded vowel is produced without lip rounding, as in E, 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 A. Since most orthographic systems are very unreliable in reflecting the sound system of a language, phoneticians have created so-called phonetic alphabets, enabling us to represent the exact value of each sound of any language. This precise way of representing the pronunciation of language is called phonetic transcription. In order to distinguish a phonetic transcription from normal spelling, the signs are put in square brackets. Bit, for instance, would be the phonetic transcription of the word bit. The most widespread phonetic alphabet was developed and promulgated by the International Phonetic Association since 1888, and this is known as International Phonetic Alphabet. The term phonology is often associated with the study of higher level of speech organization. It is often said to be concerned with the organization of speech within specific languages or with the systems and patterns of sound that occur in particular languages. A phoneme can be defined as a unit, a rubric, a bundle of sound features, or the smallest contrastive linguistic unit, which may bring about a change in the meaning. Phonemes of a language can be discovered by forming minimal pairs, that is, pairs of words are different only in one sound segment. The series of words bat, bat, cat, hat, sat, that, mat supplies us with 7 words which are distinguished simply by change in the first element of the sound sequence. These elements of contrastive significance are called phonemes. Members of phonemes are often called phones or allophones, and it is a common practice to write phone symbols between square brackets and phoneme symbols between oblique brackets. An allophone is a speech sound which is one of a number of variants of a phoneme. The concept of allophone can be explained clearly with these examples. English sounds such as p, t, k, when pronounced in initial position, are aspirated as in p, t, k, as in words like power, 10, kite. But immediately following initial S, they are without aspiration, as in steam. As aspirated t and unaspirated t cannot replace one another in the same environment in English, they are considered as phonetically different sounds belonging to the same phoneme. Thus, t and t are allophones of the phoneme t. Allophonic distribution or variation can be of different kinds. If they result from the occurrence of the phoneme in different environments or context, we talk about complementary distribution. For example, in the word pill, the voiceless plosive p is followed by a stressed vowel and is in the syllable initial position. Here the aspirated allophone p will occur, whereas in the case of words like spill, p is not in the initial position and is preceded by s, the unaspirated variant of p or p will occur here. We talk of free variation if variation is not associated with positioning. One type of free variation that we encounter is when we compare different realizations of one and the same phoneme. To give an example, if a person pronounces the word rock as either rock or rock, then we talk about free variation. We can have a different type of free variation when we deal with realizations of different phonemes in the same context without a change of meaning. For example, E and E and the respective pronunciations of word economics. It can be either pronounced as economics or economics. Although language systems are, to a very considerable extent, independent of the medium in which they are manifest, the natural or primary medium of human language is sound. For these very reasons, the study of sound, that is, phonetics and phonology, is of central importance in linguistics.